Hello and welcome to the Twofold channel. This time around, we're hanging out with the brand new VW Golf 8R. I know you came here for a full review, onslaught and take of everything and all that is about the Golf 8, but I'm switching things up by giving you my top 5 things about this vehicle. It may not be things that I like, but let's go. All right, first things first, and most probably the most obvious one if you're watching this video, is the looks of this car. For me, the looks on this Golf 8R are absolutely stunning and eye-catching. I mean, from the lines and everything that VW has done with this vehicle, transforming it from, the Golf 7 and 7.5 that we know to this vehicle is a transformation and a half. I mean, it's not drastic changes, of course. It's not like it's a completely new model, but this, in terms of looks, really looks good, especially from the front when you're looking at it with those LED lights that strip right in the front of the vehicle there. That's really catching your eye, up until the back here with these new LEDs, and the signature pattern inside of the IQ lights as well really stands out, and I think it has to be one of my favorite things about this car. And then again, you get those two pipes at the bottom on this 8R model specifically, which look really good to the car itself. I mean, they're not Akrapovic pipes, but they do get the job done, if you can call it that. But that's that in terms of looks and what I really like about the exterior of this car. I think next, let's move on to our fourth point on my top 5 on the list. At number 4, we have to talk about the space in this car. I get that it's a hot hatch, yes, space will be limited, but I mean, for someone even of my size, it's really a struggle to get in here. And I reckon someone of average height will also struggle to get in this car when I'm sitting in front of them. Of course, the seat is all the way up to the front. There's no one sitting here, in front of me, but it is quite a pinch getting in and out of this vehicle. Even for the driver myself, when I get into the front of the vehicle, it is sort of a struggle to get in and out of the vehicle. Something that I personally don't like, but if you're someone of a smaller stature, then it shouldn't be a problem for you and your passengers, even all the way to the back here. Boot space is very limited, so if you're planning any long weekend getaways, rather look at getting something else, or Uber there if you must. Let's move on to point 3. And at number 3, it's very imperative that we talk about the tech in this car. I mean, VW coins this as the most digitally advanced Golf yet. And it comes through, from the looks outside up until you walk up close to the vehicle, where it recognizes the key fob and it starts lighting things and unlocking the car for you, to the app that you can connect with the car itself to control certain features, preheated, look at the range of the fuel, etc., to the cluster that you're greeted with in the vehicle. It's pretty much advanced, but I think this time around too advanced in a point where everything here in this car has been pretty much turned into a touch haptic feedback sort of button and feedback in this car, where it makes it to some extent impossible to use this on a daily, safely that is. Sure, yes, you can use the buttons on your steering wheel to control certain features, your volume, skip songs, the menu, you change your information cluster right in front of you to certain things on your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but it just gets too much. I think VW should have kept certain features or controls or knobs as those that we used to and that we love. But apparently they've taken all of that feedback in and they're working on a newer version of the Golf 8 that's more refreshed, and obviously some of the controls are back to normal, or at least we hope, and we look forward to seeing that. And up until the 8R launches, also you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about as you familiarize yourself with the vehicle. But other than that, it's a good gesture, and it's good to see all of the, technological advancements that they've put into the vehicle. Safety-wise, everything that you would expect is there, from your emergency braking assist to the sensors letting you know the cars in front of you are about to, slowing down or braking, and that you should be wary of that, which is all good. I like that. Everything else is just a bit too much. I think let's move to point 2 and then we wrap up my take on the Golf 8R. And at number 2, we have to talk about the driving dynamics in the Golf 8R. What would the review be without it? I mean, similar to the Golf 8 GTI when it came out, and people gave the reviews and said, well, the Golf 8 GTI is pretty much a grown-up or an evolved version of the 7.5 and the 7 that people have come to know and love. Here, driving dynamics are pretty much the same. It has grown up, and that fun factor, it has been tamed down a bit. Well, the same in this car, and I've driven it on a closed circuit alongside its peer, the RS3. And the two, when comparing them, are chalk and cheese. I would rather go for the RS3 as opposed to this 8R that we have over here. You have to really feel it for yourself, but take it from my experience and my review of this vehicle, where I'm saying the fun fact on this car is missing a bit, and you won't get that coming through, especially when you let the car loose a bit. And I think let's move on to our first point, where we talk more about the engine. At our number 1 spot, we have to talk about the engine in this baby over here. So what you find is a 2-liter engine that's good for about 235 kilowatts of power and 400 Newton meters of torque. The engine itself is very good, and I rate it as probably one of my best engines around. But then again, refer to my previous point when talking about the driving dynamics in this vehicle. It's more of a vehicle thing as opposed to, well, just the engine on its own. I know I can't talk about the engine, but not talking about the driving dynamics, but there's a lot that comes into play there. You're talking about the body itself, the body roll, the structure of the vehicle, etc. The science behind it is a lot, but the engine itself here is very good, and that's why it's on our number 1 spot. And I know before I close off, you're probably wondering, well, what does the car cost, or how much is it, or etc, etc. For now, we don't know what the pricing is up until VW decides to release the car on the market. What you see here is a press fleet car, which means it's only for testing purposes, but you can't actually buy it as yet. We'll be sure to issue an update in the descriptor below once the car becomes available and list the pricing as well. But I mean, you can also check out the VW website for more information if you must. And that's it from my time, or our time, with the Golf 8R. We're pretty curious to know what you think of this vehicle and the review of it. Please do let us know in the comments below. For anything else, please do share with your family and friends wide, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel to be the first to know when we drop. Why am I slurring today, bro? Please make sure that you subscribe to the 2-Fold channel right now. From myself and Harmonix behind the camera, thank you for giving us a watch. Until next time.